All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er report. Josina Anderson says the 49ers have interest in OBJ. We'll talk about that coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. We're also brought to you by Aura, and we'll tell you more about them in a minute. But let's talk first about the report of the day. According to Josina Anderson, the 49ers are showing interest in Odell Beckham Jr. And this is one that I'm not an Odell Beckham Jr. Fan at all. I never was a huge fan of OBJ. I think he's a lot about himself, and now he's had a bunch of injuries and he's older. But according to Josina Anderson, she says, I think the Chiefs, 49ers, Jets, Rams, or returning to the Ravens are 5 good landing spots for OBJ on mutually agreeable terms, in my opinion. The first thing is getting Odell more involved in the offense and also carving out his role. I know this from covering since his rookie year, but when it's pressure time in the postseason and it's down and you got to have it, he'll catch the pressure ball like he did to earn himself a ring in LA. I know that because I've seen it before. Well, there's no question. I mean, OBJ can still run a route and he can still catch in a crowd and he can still hold on. And so I can see why there are people that really like the idea of him in a 49er uniform. I just don't. I think this is an older receiver that has a big opinion of himself and is a locker room lawyer type. And I just don't think that, the 49ers, if they're in go-to mode on the goal line, they probably need to go to Debo, Ayuk, JJ, Kittle, McCaffrey over OBJ at this point. He did average 16.1 yards per reception, but he ranked behind Zay Flowers in almost all the major metrics this year. So I don't know. I personally, I realize what she's saying. OBJ in a big moment can still run a stop route. You can throw it to him in a crowd. He can catch it, take a big hit, and hold on. So, but do you want him on your roster all year long? I would say no. I think when you look at his stats, it shows a guy that doesn't play double digit games for the most part, and if he hasn't had a 50 reception season in like 5 years. So you're talking about a guy. I mean, his games played with New York: 12, 15, 16, 4, and 12. With Cleveland, he had the first year he played in 16, then 7, then 6. With Baltimore, 8 2 years ago, 14 this year. He only had 35 receptions on 64 targets for 565 yards and 3 touchdowns. I just don't think that you need if the 49ers had 3 receivers that were all, guys in the draft. Xavier Legette, Brian Thomas. If they had those kinds of receivers, really, really young receivers, then maybe OBJ makes some sense. Why? Because he's a veteran and he's been through the wars and he can tell these guys a lot of the secrets that it takes to getting open in the NFL against tight NFL coverage, whether it be off man, zone, whatever it is. He has information to share with a very, very young receiving core. The Niners don't have a very, very young receiving core. Ayuk's a veteran, knows how to do it. JJ's a veteran, knows how to do it. Debo's a veteran, knows how to do it. They don't need Chris Conley's a veteran. They don't need the experience level of OBJ to help, a group of super young receivers adjust to life in the NFL. That's not what they have. If you have, 2 or 3 really talented young receivers, maybe you need OBJ. Maybe you need OBJ to kind of show how you run routes and how you get open against tight man coverage and some of the tricks of the trade. But on this team, he's just going to clog things up, demanding the ball, locker room lawyer type. There's no way. I mean, it's just not a good fit. Once again, if they had a super young group, maybe OBJ is a perfect fit because he could help that young group along. You know, he can make some big catches. He can show them what kind of ball skills are necessary to have success in the NFL. Then it makes sense. But on this team where the receiving core is all relatively older, and I don't think you need OBJ there. And if you went to OBJ in big situations over Ayuk, it would probably be a mistake. I mean, if you're going to pay Brandon Ayuk anything close to what he wants, he's going to be making $30 million a year. And then you're going to get involved in some of the biggest plays of your season, and you're going to go to OBJ. Old man OBJ barely separates from NFL caliber corners at this point, really can't run, and it's just about ball skills. I think you do that 3 or 4 times over the course of a couple months, and Brandon Ayuk's going to be really, really unhappy. Deebo Samuel wants the ball. Kittle wants the ball. I mean, if anything, you need either a receiver that complements the rest of the crew. So what does that mean? They don't have a deep ball guy. They don't have a go pattern guy. So I'm thinking of drafting a guy like Tyler Harrell in like the 6th round or 7th round and just let him run off the coverage, or activate Danny Gray and let him run off the coverage. They need a complementary receiver to the receivers they already have. And OBJ does not complement their current receiving group. He would be a redundant part. He's just a guy who runs phenomenal routes and has great hands, but you're paying Ayuk $30 million. You're going to be paying Deebo Samuel $28 million. You're going to have over $50 million of wide receivers on the field, including maybe a very high-priced Juwan Jennings, and you're going to turn around in a key moment and throw the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. So I don't doubt Josina Anderson's report that, in her opinion, Odell, she's thinking, where can Odell go and maybe get a ring and maybe push somebody over the top? And so she's thinking, oh, the Chiefs need a receiver. Oh, maybe the Ravens, they could use a receiver. I don't even think the Jets would be a good fit, but she said Rams. Rams, are a veteran team with a veteran quarterback that maybe could make one run at the Super Bowl. And then the 49ers. So I think her report is coming out. It's more in the eyes of what would be great for OBJ as opposed to what would be great for these teams. And I don't think OBJ would be great for the 49ers for all the reasons I stated. Now let's hear from our sponsor of today's video, Aura. Have you ever typed your name on the internet and seen all of your private information is online? Are you tired of receiving tons of spam calls from random numbers? Are you receiving more and more of these as time has gone on? Well, that's where Aura, the sponsor of today's show, can really help you out. Data brokers sell your information to scammers and spammers and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, your email, your home address, all your records, your health records, who your relatives are. It's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use the information to help them access my social media accounts, my bank accounts, or any other sensitive information. Aura also does so much more to protect me and my family from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up. And best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to the link in the description to start your 2-week free trial. And thanks to Aura for sponsoring this video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for sponsoring the Krug Show channel. And thanks to all you guys for supporting us as well. The Krug Show, and thanks as we just reached 40,000 subs, thanks to all of you and your consistent support. I just wanted to say thanks once again, and thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.